I sat in my lawyer's office on a Tuesday morning, reviewing the final documents for my wife Sarah's estate. The life insurance payout had come through 6 months after her death, $320,000. Combined with my retirement savings, I had just over $480,000 to see me through the rest of my life. As a retired high school principal, I'd spent 42 years teaching kids how to think critically, how to spot patterns, how to solve problems. I never imagined I'd need those skills to solve the biggest problem of my life. 3 months later, my phone rang at 3:00 the morning. I fumbled for it in the dark, my heart pounding. Calls at this hour meant emergencies. Dad. It was my daughter Jennifer, and she was crying. Dad, something's wrong with Marcus. He's having a panic attack. He keeps saying you've destroyed him. What's happening? Marcus, my son-in-law of 4 years, the man who'd held my hand at Sarah's funeral and promised to help me through the paperwork, the finances, the transition to life alone, the man who I'd given power of attorney to, just temporarily, because I couldn't focus on banking details while grieving. Jennifer, I need you to listen carefully, I said, sitting up and turning on the light. Check your joint accounts. Check them right now. I heard her moving, heard the laptop opening, then silence, then a sharp intake of breath. Dad, there's only $3,000 in here. We had almost $80,000 last month. Where did it? She stopped. I could hear her understanding dawning. No, he wouldn't. Dad, what did you do? I didn't do anything, I said quietly. I just found out where my money went. Let me back up. 2 weeks earlier, I'd been sitting in my kitchen in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, going through my monthly statements when I realized I hadn't received anything from my main investment account in 3 months. I'd been so numb after Sarah's death, so focused on just getting through each day, that financial paperwork had piled up. I logged into the account online. 0 balance. I called the bank immediately. They confirmed that $480,000 had been transferred out in 7 different transactions over the past 5 months, all authorized with my power of attorney documentation. Who authorized these transfers? I asked the representative. According to our records, Mr. Marcus Webb. He's listed as your attorney, in fact. I'd given Marcus that designation in April, right after Sarah's funeral. He was an accountant, he was family, and I trusted him to help me consolidate accounts and handle some bill payments while I couldn't think straight. I'd meant to revoke it after a few months. I'd forgotten. The next morning, I drove to Jennifer and Marcus's house in Dover, about 30 minutes away. A new Mercedes G-Wagon sat in the driveway, gleaming black with chrome accents. $160,000 worth of vehicle. I parked my 12-year-old Honda behind it and walked to the door. Marcus answered, dressed in expensive athletic wear I didn't recognize from before. His smile faltered when he saw my face. Robert, hey, wasn't expecting you. Come in. We need to talk, I said. He stepped back, and I walked into a house that had been redecorated since I was last here. New furniture, new electronics, artwork on the walls that looked expensive. Where's Jennifer? I asked. At her sister's. Some kind of crisis with the kids, he laughed nervously. You know how it is. I know exactly how it is, I said. I know my investment account is empty. I know you've been making transfers for 5 months. I know you signed with the power of attorney I gave you to help with Sarah's estate. He went pale. I can explain. I was going to tell you. I was going to pay you back. I just needed. You needed what? A Mercedes? A new lifestyle? I looked around the room. What else did you buy with my wife's life insurance money? It wasn't like that, he said quickly. It was an investment opportunity. The brewery. You remember I told you about wanting to start a craft brewery? The opportunity came up suddenly, and I knew you'd understand if I explained. You never explained. You never asked. I was going to pay you back with profits. His voice rose. The brewery's already profitable. By the end of the year, you'll have your money back, plus returns. I did you a favor, actually. Your money was just sitting there. It was sitting there because it's my retirement fund. It's how I eat. It's how I keep my house. It's the only thing Sarah left me besides memories. He had the audacity to look annoyed. You're overreacting. This is an investment, not theft. You'll get every penny back. Just give me some time. How much time? I don't know. Maybe 2 years? 3? The business needs to establish itself. 3 years. I nodded slowly. I'm 64 years old, Marcus. I have maybe 20 years left if I'm lucky. You want me to spend 15% of my remaining life waiting for you to repay money you stole? I didn't steal anything. We're family. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw someone I didn't recognize. Had he always been this entitled? Had I missed the signs? Where's the brewery? I asked quietly. Burlington, Vermont. It's called White Mountain Brewing. We just had our grand opening last month. He pulled out his phone eagerly, like showing me photos would make everything okay. Look, we've already got great reviews. We're on track to... We? I interrupted. I have business partners, local investors, but I own 51% with my money, with borrowed money that I'm going to repay. I stood up. I'm going to need you to do something for me, Marcus. Sure, yeah, of course. What do you need? I need you to not contact me again. I need you to stay away from my house. I'll talk to Jennifer separately. He frowned. Come on, don't be dramatic. We can work this out. We're done talking, I said, and left. In the car, I sat for a long moment before starting the engine. Through the window, I could see Marcus pacing inside, phone to his ear, probably calling Jennifer. I was a high school principal for 42 years. I'd dealt with thieves before, kids who stole from lockers, who cheated on tests, who lied to parents and teachers. I'd learned that entitled people don't change from a single conversation. They change when they face real consequences. I drove home and made a list. I'd taught thousands of students over my career. Some of them had become lawyers. Some had become forensic accountants. Some had become private investigators. I'd gone to their weddings, written recommendation letters, helped them get into colleges. Now, I was going to ask for their help. First call, Daniel Rodriguez, class of 2003, now a criminal defense attorney in Boston. Mr. Patterson? He sounded delighted to hear from me. How are you? I heard about Mrs. Patterson. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Daniel. I need a consultation. A legal matter. Of course. Absolutely. What's going on? I explained the situation. He listened without interrupting. Okay, he said when I finished. First thing, that's not borrowing. That's theft by deception and financial exploitation. Second thing, revoke that power of attorney immediately. Today. Third thing, we need to document everything before he has a chance to cover his tracks. Do you have bank statements? I can get them. Get me 5 years' worth. Everything. I'll review them pro bono, because you helped me get into law school, and because this makes me furious. Second call, Patricia Hoang, class of 2007, forensic accountant. Mr. P. She'd always called me that. This is a surprise. How are you doing? Same conversation, same offer to help. Within 2 days, I had a team. Patricia came to my house with her laptop. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where Sarah and I had eaten breakfast for 33 years, and went through every transaction. He was smart about it, Patricia said, scrolling through screens. Small transfers at first, $15,000 here, $20,000 there, spread out over different months. By the time he was taking $80,000 at once, the pattern was established. The bank wouldn't flag it. Can you track where it went? Already doing it. He transferred money to his personal account, then to his business account, then to various vendors. I'm building a complete timeline. She looked up at me. Mr. Patterson, this isn't just theft. This is fraud, forgery, and financial exploitation of a grieving widower. This is serious prison time. I don't want him in prison, I said. Why not? Because of Jennifer. Because of their kids. I'd been thinking about this, but I want him to lose everything he bought with my money. Everything. Patricia smiled. Now that I can do. Third call. James Chen, class of 2010, private investigator. I need to know everything about White Mountain Brewing, I told him. Partners, finances, business structure, everything. James worked fast. Within a week, I had a complete dossier. White Mountain Brewing was indeed real. Marcus owned 51%, purchased with $320,000 of my money. Two local investors owned the remaining 49%, contributing $180,000 combined. The brewery had opened 7 weeks ago and was showing strong initial numbers. Marcus had spent another $90,000 on the Mercedes. The remaining $70,000 had gone to lifestyle expenses, furniture, clothes, a vacation to Napa Valley to research wine country business models. The mortgage on their house had been paid off. With my money. He's living his dream life on your dime, James said, handing me the report. And the business partners have no idea where his funding came from. They will soon, I said. I'd been a principal long enough to know that investigations require patience. You don't confront immediately. You build a case, gather evidence, make sure every detail is documented. Then you present consequences. It took 3 months to build the case. 3 months of Patricia tracking financial flows, Daniel reviewing legal options, James documenting everything Marcus did. 3 months of Marcus living his best life, posting on social media about his successful brewery journey, acting like he'd earned it all. Jennifer called me twice. I told her I loved her and needed space. I couldn't tell her yet. She'd warned Marcus. In month 2, Daniel filed a criminal complaint. Financial exploitation, theft by deception, forgery, wire fraud. The local prosecutor's office opened an investigation. In month 3, we filed a civil lawsuit. I was suing Marcus personally for $480,000, plus damages, plus interest, plus legal fees. I was also filing claims against the brewery itself, since it was purchased with stolen funds. The morning the papers were served, I was having coffee in my kitchen when my phone rang. Marcus. I didn't answer. He called 6 more times. Then Jennifer called. Dad, what did you do? Marcus just got served. The police are asking him to come in for questioning. He's having a breakdown. He says you're trying to destroy him. I'm trying to recover my money, I said calmly. He says he was going to pay you back. He says this is an investment. Jennifer, he took almost $500,000 without asking. He bought a Mercedes and a business and paid off your mortgage. He did it while I was grieving your mother. Did you know about any of this? Silence. Jennifer? I knew about the brewery money, she said quietly. He told me it was a loan from you. He said you were happy to invest in his dream. I didn't know about the power of attorney thing. I didn't know he hadn't asked. Did you enjoy the new furniture? The paid-off house? That's not fair. None of this is fair. Your husband stole your mother's life insurance money. She hung up. The criminal investigation moved slowly, but the civil case moved fast. Marcus's lawyer tried to argue it was a misunderstanding, a family dispute, that Marcus had every intention of repaying. Daniel destroyed that argument with the timeline Patricia had built. He showed that Marcus had made no attempts to establish a repayment plan. He showed the luxury purchases. He showed Marcus's social media posts, bragging about his self-made success. He showed text messages where Marcus had told his business partners that his funding came from personal savings. The court froze Marcus's assets pending the outcome of the civil case. The Mercedes was repossessed. The brewery's accounts were frozen. Marcus couldn't pay his employees. That's when he called me at 3 a.m., having the panic attack that Jennifer had called me about. The next morning, he showed up at my house. I watched through the window as he got out of an Uber, no longer driving his Mercedes. He looked terrible, unshaven, wearing the same clothes from his social media posts a week ago, but wrinkled now. I didn't open the door. Robert, please, he called through it. Please, I need to talk to you. I can't pay my employees. I'm going to lose everything. People are depending on me. I opened the door, but didn't invite him in. People were depending on me too, I said. My wife's memory, my retirement, my future. I made a mistake. I know that now. But please, there has to be another way. The brewery can pay you back. Just give me time. Drop the lawsuit. Let me operate. You had a chance to ask for time. You had a chance to be honest. You chose to steal instead. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was scared the opportunity would disappear. I panicked. I panicked when I saw my account at zero, I said. But I didn't steal from you to fix it. What do you want from me? He was crying now. You want me to say I'm sorry? I'm sorry. You want me to beg? I'm begging. Please, just tell me what you want. I want what you took. The business can't survive if the accounts are frozen. We'll go bankrupt. You'll get nothing. Then I guess you should have thought of that before you committed multiple felonies. He stared at me. You really want to destroy me? No, I said. I want you to face consequences. Those are different things. I closed the door. The prosecutor's office moved forward with criminal charges. Daniel told me it would take months, maybe years. But the civil case was faster. 2 weeks later, Marcus's lawyer called Daniel with a settlement offer. Marcus would plead guilty to reduced criminal charges in exchange for no jail time. He would agree to a structured repayment plan. He would surrender his share of the brewery to satisfy the civil judgment. What's the repayment plan? I asked Daniel. 15 years. Monthly payments based on his income. If he defaults, jail time comes back on the table. And the brewery? You'd become the 51% owner. The other partners stay. You can operate it, sell it, or shut it down. I thought about it. Tell them I want to review the brewery's finances first. If it's genuinely profitable, I'll take ownership. If it's a house of cards, I want cash equivalents from other assets. Patricia spent a week analyzing White Mountain Brewing's books. She came back with good news. It's actually a solid business, she said, looking surprised. Marcus is terrible with personal ethics, but he knows craft beer. The margins are good, the customer base is growing, the location is excellent. Keep the current management structure, and this could pay you a steady income for years. Even without Marcus running it, especially without Marcus running it. He was spending too much on personal expenses charged to the business. Clean that up, and profits increase. The settlement was finalized in early October. Marcus pled guilty to financial exploitation and wire fraud. He received 5 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and a structured repayment plan that would take 15 years to complete. His credit was destroyed. The brewery became mine. The other partners, 2 Vermont locals named Tom and Sarah, were shocked. I drove up to Burlington to meet them. We had no idea, Tom said. He was in his 50s, a former tech executive who'd wanted to do something with his hands. Marcus told us he'd saved for years. He did save, I said. He saved my money. What are you going to do with the business? Sarah asked. She was younger, early 40s, a marketing professional. I understand you two have been doing the actual work while Marcus played owner. They exchanged glances. Marcus had the vision, Tom said carefully. But yeah, we handle operations. Then keep handling operations. I'll be a silent partner. You run the brewery, make good beer, send me quarterly reports. I'll take my 51% of profits, and we'll pretend Marcus was never here. Just like that? Sarah looked skeptical. I'm 64 years old. I don't know anything about craft beer. I do know that 2 people built something good here, and it shouldn't be destroyed because a third person is a thief. Run the business well, and we'll all benefit. What about Marcus? Tom asked. He still works here. We're short-staffed. I'd thought about this. Make him an hourly employee. Brewing floor, not management. No decision-making authority. No company credit card. If he wants to work off his community service hours here, fine. If he doesn't want to show his face, I understand that too. They agreed. I visited the brewery once more, about a month later. It was a crisp November evening, and the place was packed with customers. Marcus was behind the bar, pulling pints, wearing a White Mountain Brewing t-shirt. He saw me come in, and his face went white. I ordered a beer from a different bartender and sat in the corner, watching. Marcus served customers, cleaned glasses, did the work. He didn't leave. He didn't make a scene. After an hour, he came over. I didn't know you'd be here, he said. It's my business. I can be here whenever I want. He nodded, looking at the floor. The beer you ordered? The IPA. I made that recipe. It's good, I admitted. I know I don't deserve to say this, but I am sorry. I really am. Being sorry doesn't return 5 months of my life I spent investigating you instead of grieving my wife. I know. It doesn't return the trust Jennifer had in you. I know. She's divorcing me. I hadn't known that. I felt a twist of sadness for my daughter, for my grandchildren. That's between you and her, I said. The repayment plan, he said. 15 years. I'll be 53 years old when I'm done. That's if I never miss a payment. Yes. I could have just asked you to invest. You might have said yes. I might have. Why didn't I just ask? That's a question you should bring up with a therapist, I said. He nodded slowly and went back to the bar. I finished my beer and left. Driving home through the November darkness, I thought about patterns. I'd spent 42 years teaching kids to recognize them. Pattern recognition is how you predict behavior. It's how you prevent problems. It's how you catch people who think they're too smart to get caught. Marcus had a pattern. He saw an opportunity and took it, without considering consequences. He'd probably been doing it his whole life, in smaller ways. This was just the first time the consequences caught up to him. I had a pattern too. I taught kids that actions have consequences. I taught them that stealing has a cost. I taught them that intelligence isn't just about being clever. It's about being ethical. I just taught Marcus the same lesson, 30 years too late. By December, I'd settled into a new routine. Quarterly reports from the brewery showed steady profits. My share was enough to supplement my pension comfortably. I'd moved Sarah's ashes to a beautiful spot in our garden, and I visited her there most mornings with coffee. Jennifer came by on a Saturday with my grandchildren. Things were stilted between us, but she was trying. The kids miss you, she said. I miss them too. Marcus is living in an apartment now. He's working double shifts at the brewery and another job delivering food. Good, Dad. I know you're angry. I'm not angry anymore, I said honestly. I was angry in April, in May, in June. Now I'm just sad that it happened. Do you think you'll ever forgive him? I don't know. Maybe when the 15 years are up, when he's paid back every penny, when he's proven he can be trustworthy, maybe then. That's a long time. It is. But some lessons take time to learn. She looked at me, and I saw Sarah in her eyes. Mom would have handled this differently. Maybe. Your mother had a bigger heart than me. No, Jennifer said. She had a softer heart. Yours is just as big. You did what you had to do. That night, I made a list of all the former students who'd helped me. I sent each of them a case of White Mountain Brewing beer and a thank you note. They'd learned their lessons well. When one of their own needed help, they'd stepped up. 3 months later, on a cold February morning, I received a letter from Marcus. It was the first direct communication since the settlement. Robert, it read, I'm writing this because my therapist says I need to take accountability without expecting forgiveness. You were right. I could have asked. I should have asked. I was so desperate to prove I could be successful that I destroyed the relationships that mattered most. I lost Jennifer. I lost my children's respect. I lost your trust. I'm working on myself. I'm making my payments. I'm showing up at the brewery every day and making beer that people enjoy. That's all I can do. You don't owe me a response. I just needed you to know that I understand now. I understand what I took from you wasn't money. It was peace. It was security. It was Sarah's legacy. And I'm sorry. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer in my desk, next to Sarah's favorite photo from our trip to the Grand Canyon. I didn't write back. Some apologies aren't meant to be accepted. They're meant to be offered. What happens after that is up to time. The spring came, and with it, Sarah's daffodils bloomed in the garden she'd planted. I sat outside with my coffee one morning, watching the sun come up over Portsmouth, and thought about engineering problems. Because that's what this had been, really. Marcus had created chaos by breaking a system. I'd restored order by understanding how systems work. You don't destroy chaos by creating more chaos. You destroy it by being patient, methodical, thorough. You gather evidence. You build a case. You let consequences happen naturally, without revenge, without anger. You just hold people accountable and let the weight of their choices press down on them. The fire crackled in my living room that evening as I reviewed the latest quarterly report from White Mountain Brewing. Profits were up. The business was thriving. Marcus's beer recipes were award-winning, even if his name wasn't on them anymore. My phone rang. It was Daniel. "Mr. Patterson, I wanted to let you know. Marcus made his first year of payments on time. All 12 months. The court is satisfied with his compliance." "Good," I said. 14 years to go. 14 years, Daniel agreed. "Think he'll make it?" "I hope so. For his sake, and Jennifer's. The kids need their father to be a man who keeps his word." I hung up and stared at the fire. Being a principal taught me that punishment without growth is just cruelty. But growth without consequences is just enabling. Marcus needed both. Time would tell if he'd learn. Somewhere in Burlington, Marcus was probably closing up the brewery for the night, counting tills, cleaning equipment, working an honest job with honest pay. Learning, maybe for the first time, what it meant to earn something instead of taking it. And here I was, 64 years old, a widower, living on Sarah's memory and Marcus's monthly payments. Not the retirement I'd planned, but not the disaster it could have been. Justice doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it just looks like balance restored, systems working the way they're supposed to, cause and effect finally catching up to each other. I'd taught that lesson 1,000 times in 1,000 classrooms. Now I'd taught it one more time to someone who'd never been my student but desperately needed to learn. The fire burned low as I finished the last of my beer, a White Mountain IPA, made with my money, made by my thief, made into my income. Poetic justice, some might call it. I just called it consequences.